Good morning, and welcome to Plant the Seed radio show on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. Hello, and I am so thankful and excited to be here today. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new to my show, thank you for the support. I hope you stay tuned. And if you've already been a supporter and you've been listening to my show, hey, you know I celebrate you. You know I celebrate you. Thank you for your continued support. So listen, today's show, I'm not going to waste any time. I am going to maximize every minute of the show today. So I have to stay true to me and acknowledge that today is Good Friday. I have been in the Lent season, so I've been fasting. And today is the day that God gave his only son. Okay, the major sacrifice of giving his only son to save us, to save our little sinful selves. So, you know what? I'm thankful for that. And I just have to acknowledge that today. And I just want to read a quick scripture. This is agriculture radio. However, who made land? Who created that? So I have to pay respects to our creator today. And I am going to read a scripture, 1 Peter 2:24. Okay. He bore our sins in his body on the tree that we might die to sin and live to righteousness. By his wounds, you have been healed. So listen, Jesus died today, okay? But hey, what about them 3 days? Okay, so we're going to be thankful. We are in Easter season. We are in Lent season. I am in Thanksgiving. So speaking of healing, that leads me to the second topic for today. Blueberries. Yes, we're talking about blueberries. Did you know blueberries can be listed as a healing agent? So we're going to be talking about blueberries today. And did y'all know that Georgia has 300, look, listen, the economic impact that blueberries have on Georgia is over $300 million. That was 2020. So I wonder what 2022 is looking like. I can't wait to get that snapshot. You guys ought to check out UGA. That's where I get my information from as far as the commodities and what Georgia commodities is making around here. So today we are talking about blueberries, and y'all know I always have a green thumb corner recipient. Well, I have the pleasure of having this week's green thumb corner recipient right here live in the studio. Okay. I'm so honored to have her here. This is Mrs. Jasmine Cobble. She is in the studio today to join us, and she's going to elaborate a bit on Georgia's economy when it comes to blueberries. Remember, this is agriculture radio, and it is campaign season. So we are here. She is running for mayor of Crest, Georgia. This is a special election. So we're going to hear from Ms. Cobble and see what Stonecrest, what she has in mind for Stonecrest. You know, it's a new city. It was established in 2017. So I cannot wait to hear about her. And she's going to talk to us about blue.
This week's Green Thumb Corner recipient is Mrs. Jasmine Randall Cobble.
Plant the Seed radio show.
All right, we are back. And thank you again for staying tuned with me, Sheba, the Green Thumb Diva, of Plant the Seed radio show on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. Hey, we are back. It is 10:20, and I told you guys we were talking blueberries. We were thankful that today is Good Friday, and we have a mayoral candidate in studio live, and she is this week's Green Thumb Corner recipient. I am so pleased to have her here. The reason why I had to choose her was because last Sunday I was invited to Stonecrest Farmers Market. Now she's running for mayor in Stonecrest, Georgia. And anyway, I was at the market, met her, interviewed her, and her video, once I reviewed it when I got home. Now look, when I got home, it was upside down. So I'm still editing. I'm a one-woman show. So when I got home, it was upside down, but I was the right side. And then when I handed you the mic, it was upside down once I reviewed the recording. But anyway, your words when you talked about being the first woman to be the director of fleet management for the state of Georgia, when you talked about being a graduate from a high school right here in Georgia, we got some issues going on, I just saw that, but you're right here. You talked about the community, you talked about just hands-on right there, meeting the people. She was walking around the Stonecrest Farmers Market, patronizing people, local vendors. She talked about rebuilding, reforming, restoring a community. That stood out with me. That spoke volumes to me. And to see her, she looks like me. She's 36 years old. I'm inspired, and I had no choice but to award her this week's Green Thumb Corner recipient. I'm going to read a bit about Miss Jasmine Cobble, and we're going to let her take it over. Over the last 4 years, Mrs. Jasmine Randall Cobble has served as the District 3 City Councilwoman for the City of Stonecrest. As a fellow resident, she has a vested interest in seeing that each generation in the city of Stonecrest has the representation, guidance, and resources to enjoy life. Jasmine is a member of the Albany State University National Alumni Association, ASU DeKalb Alumni Chapter, DeKalb chapter of the National NAACP, as well as a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Professionally, she serves as president of the National Fleet Conference. She serves as president of the National Conference of State Fleet Administration and is a member of National Association of Fleet Administration, just to name a few. She and her husband are the proud parent of a son. The Cobbles have resided in the Stonecrest, Lithonia area for the past 12 years. Mrs. Cobble is a candidate for mayor of Stonecrest, Georgia. Good morning, Miss Cobble, and thank you for coming to Plant the Seed radio show.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes. We've been talking blueberries too.
I heard.
Yeah. So I want to hear what you got about blueberries too. But could you tell our agriculture listeners about you? Any connections with agriculture? How do you feel about agriculture?
Sure. Well, you read such a fantastic bio. I probably don't need to mess that up any. But yeah, absolutely. I'm a proud member of the Stonecrest community for over 12 years now. Served on the city council for almost 5 years. A full 4 years plus an 8-month term. So almost 5 years. So since the city was founded, I've been on the city council. Just recently, in my second term of office, I decided that it was time for me to move over to the executive branch and to help stabilize our executive branch to work in uniformity and have continuity with our legislative branch. I truly believe that when our executive branch and our legislative branch are working together to advance that one unified agenda, that we will absolutely achieve all that we set out to achieve and realize all the potential that our community know it has. So that's why I've thrown my name in the hat for this race. It has been one of the greatest pleasures of my life thus far to serve our community. I have seen a lot, I've heard a lot, I've done a lot. But I'm looking forward to many more years to come as what Stonecrest can produce. One of my favorite new opportunities that Stonecrest has is what you mentioned earlier, which is our Stonecrest Fresh Farmers Market.
Yeah.
We are really going to see that explode this spring and this summer. So we're really excited about it. When I saw you, that was probably my fourth time at the farmers market. And each time I come, I see a new vendor. I'm intrigued about what they're offering to our community.
Yeah.
And we're just looking for new opportunities, but one that is just like the farmers market, fresh produce.
Yeah.
A place where folks can look forward to each week, coming to see familiar faces, getting education about what we're putting in our bodies and how to make wonderful meals out of what is there. Also, we've seen some really interesting natural medicine, natural vitamins, natural beverages that help our bodies grow and feel good. So it's always fun to go over there. I am not by any means not a guru into what is great for you and what is not. I try to do the best I can with eating right. And you remember that day, I was feeling a little sluggish because of something I had eaten. So from that point on, I knew that I need not eat that again. But also it was just good to hear everyone kind of chime in on why my body felt that way after eating that and how I can get the same thing I was looking for from something else that's healthier and will do my body better. So it was fun.
That's it. Thank you. And but you're right. What we eat matters, and it makes you feel a certain way. And today's subject are blueberries. My mother-in-law, she eats blueberries religiously with her oatmeal because she knows the health benefits, and raisins. Miss Gracie puts raisins in there too. She has her raisins in her. But I just look back on our older generation. It just seems like they know already, put these blueberries in here and add these raisins, and she's knocking the door down at 80. So it's something to eating healthy, and we can make it fun. Yeah. We can make it fun. But so you're a Green Thumb Corner recipient. You talk about the unified agenda, togetherness. I hear all of that. And how could you link the community with maybe healthier choices? How would you handle that? Just making healthier choices with school lunches, with maybe just offering better choices, even in some workplaces, maybe in the state buildings, things like that. What is going on? I know I'm asking several questions within questions because I'm thinking at the same time. Because I wonder, what does scratch all that? What does the state employees eat?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
There are thousands of us, the state, and many of us bring our lunch.
Okay.
But the state does offer, well, let me say here in Atlanta, because we have state offices across the entire state. So I just work in this Atlanta state office down near the Capitol. But we do have a cafeteria, and I think the cafeteria actually does a really good job. And I've seen their transition over the past 12 years with instituting healthier options for us to choose from. There's quite a bit of variety that we can choose from. And in the days when you're having a cheat meal, that is there as well. You can see the nutritional facts are posted everywhere. You'll see, they've done a really, really good job over the years, truly making so that we have choices and options, and then sprinkling a little education here and there as you're trying to choose what you want to eat. So they've been doing well.
Good deal. Okay. So that's good to hear, though. So you are a member of AKA. Can you step? I just had to ask that. Can you step?
Well, yeah, me too. And
hey.
It's been a while.
Yeah. It's good to know.
Yeah. We so literally when I leave here, I'll be going right over down the street to where we're having our South Atlantic Regional Conference.
Okay.
It's been all week and through the weekend, so it's down by the airport.
So you have the support of your sisters?
Oh yes,
I know you do.
Yes. Yeah. You know, we're a tight sisterhood.
Really?
And there are some phenomenal AKAs who serve my community already in different elected roles. So we all, get together, not only serve our community through Alpha Kappa Alpha, but we are also serving our community as elected officials. And we have a tight-knit group of us as well that's really dedicated to bouncing ideas off each other, supporting each other, trying to help get the work-life balance so that we can all be healthy, which they help me more than I help them with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tight group of folks who are just innate in leading and serving.
I'm going to hit you with something else. I'm a part of the National Women in Agriculture Association, and our leader is an AKA.
Sweet.
Dr. Tammy Steele. And let me tell you, Miss Steele is up at Washington. She is trying to get National Women in Agriculture Association recognized just as 4-H. 4-H gets a lot of money. Designated. It's just allocated out to them. But in NWIAA, we're out here doing the same thing. We're educating. We're starting. We have beginning farmers conferences that are free.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah,
she's there fighting it, and she's an AK. I think that's why our colors are pink and green.
More than likely.
Yeah. So, I bet you that's why.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Tammy.
Ask her.
I am. Okay, so please, before we do anything else, tell us what fleet management is for Georgia.
Sure.
That's what we need to know. Plant the seed, because we may have another young lady that wants to do what you're doing.
Sure. And there aren't many women in the industry, actually. It's very male dominant throughout the country. But fleet management is managing of assets that are passenger carrying. So typically you think of fleet, you think of vehicles. But it extends beyond vehicles. So anything that's passenger carrying. So that can be an aircraft, that can be a boat, that can be a riding lawnmower, that can be a golf cart. That's traditional cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, light duty and heavy duty trucks. But anything that carries a passenger is considered a fleet vehicle or fleet asset.
Yeah.
So I help manage that for this state. So there's one in every state, and I represent the one for the state of Georgia. So I have a team of, there are 5 of us. We're small but mighty.
Yeah, that's it.
But we help manage compliance with policy, making sure that our state agencies, our universities, our technical college, and also our community service boards are using the vehicles in the most cost efficient way, but also making sure that there's safety as we are conducting ourselves throughout the state.
Okay. So it's state that you handle, state vehicles.
Just state owned.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as it's state owned. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Everything. Repairs.
Yeah. So there's
all of that.
A little more than 20,000 assets across the state.
Yeah.
So anything from fueling that vehicle to repairing that vehicle, putting tires on that vehicle, the route the vehicle travels, making the driver behind it.
Yeah.
Policy compliance with fraud, compliance with driver safety. Yeah. Any and everything around it.
Yeah.
The purchase of it, the disposal of it.
All of it.
All of it. Yeah.
Okay. So that's fleet management. That's another career. Listen, we're planting seeds. Also, absolutely. I need to know. Seriously, this is a me question. I really want to know. What made you want to run for mayor? How did that come about? Mayor? That's a huge, I love that. Mayor.
Yeah, it's a big role. I find that it is as equally as big as those who serve with the mayor on the city council.
Yeah.
So I do not see it as a position that's elevated higher than those who are served with.
Yeah.
It just takes on a different role.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've been on the city council since inception. So I've worked really hard over these last 5 years to make sure that I was vocal when there were improprieties, and then make sure, most importantly, though, that I was vigilant about instituting effective solutions so that we don't go back to what we were working so hard to get away from.
Right.
So just that kind of work, being able to represent my community, making sure that the needs and wants and desires of those who I represent were heard, and that we're using that feedback to make the best decision possible. Of course, there are other things you add to that. But I have had a wealth of experience through the state, but also through my education. Yeah. I have a master's degree in public administration, and my concentration was government management. So I have a very good handle and understanding on how to manage a government, whether it's on the state level or a local level. So having that understanding, building the relationships that I've built throughout the years, being really, really a strong voice for my community. I just felt like it was a natural progression to make sure that our executive branch is just as stable as our legislative branch. And so that the two branches working together lockstep and alongside our staff can deliver services to our constituents and to our stakeholders, and make sure that we just all have that quality of life that we're looking to have. There are many legs to that, of course. But I cannot think of anyone better to serve our community in that capacity. And I look forward to working again with those who serve with me. To make sure that they are also on the same course, and we're all forging ahead together.
I like that. Did you hear? She said feedback. So I also talk about feedback a lot. I have thick skin. I don't mind feedback. You need feedback to better or enhance what you're trying to do. So that's another seed. She talked about feedback. Be open, have an open mind, and be ready to receive that. She's looking to land mayor, so she's open to feedback. You want somebody that is open to feedback. I also hear, well, when you made that decision to be mayor, to want to run for mayor, right? You have a family, you have a son. What was that conversation like with your husband? Because that's a huge commitment, time away. I know my schedule is demanding with different things that I do within the community. I'm a Georgia Master Gardener. I work with the Young Farmers Association. I'm with the NWIA. I do my own thing. I'm a radio host, So my husband has to, squeeze in. I got to go pick up Jeff at the baseball game, but different things. So how did that conversation happen? And what did he say? What did your son say?
Well, my son was excited, but he's 10.
He'll like that anyway.
He's excited.
Right.
But he doesn't really know anything different.
That's
because
right.
I have been, doing this for half of his life.
Okay.
And of course, so he was about 5 when we started. So before 5, he wouldn't have known. But since he was old enough to understand things, this is all he's ever known. So for him, he was excited, but it's just more of the same.
Right. Okay.
More of mommy going to the same meetings and council meetings and so on. So the conversation between my husband and I was not so much about the time it's going to take, because I have been on the city council.
Right.
So it has already taken that amount of time.
Okay.
So it wasn't the conversation of time. The conversation for us was more, we just ran an election. We just ran a campaign in November. So my first term ended, and I ran for re-election for my second term. The mayor's office at that time was not vacant.
Right.
There was someone serving in that seat. So naturally, I ran for my city council seat again, so I can continue to serve my community.
That's right.
I had no idea that this seat was going to become vacant just a few months later. So the conversation for us was, are we going to campaign again?
Right.
We just did 90-day campaign.
That was the talk.
Time in that, resources in that. So that was more of the conversation that he and I had to kind of weed through. But ultimately, of course, he is supportive. He is my sign guy.
Okay.
So wherever, so I have one guy that puts the yard signs, the small ones out. And then David kind of oversees where all the large signs are strategically placed for where traffic is heaviest or where there are most people going back and forth. So he's really been dedicated to that. But he's been really supportive, and outside of city council, though, he does a much better job than I do trying to make sure that we have a balance between work and family.
Yeah.
Because this is a part-time job. Even though it's a full-time dedication, it is a part-time job. I still have to work somewhere else to feed our family.
Right.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
I really feel like a public servant should serve.
Right.
And it should not come with a full-time salary where you're working now versus serving. So I wouldn't have it any other way.
See, I knew it. I chose the perfect Green Thumb Corner recipient. I did. I like your values. I like that. What's your religious background, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't mind. I'm a Christian.
Okay. So that leads me to, we talking about blueberries, and I had read a scripture earlier about, about Good Friday and passing. We are talking about Good Friday and the third day he rose again. But the end of the scripture was healing. By his wounds, we are healed. So that led me into our blueberries. You got some tips for us about any blueberries? Because they are healing.
Tips.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them tips.
Okay. Or economics.
I can tell you why I eat them.
Okay.
And I don't know necessarily that's a tip or not.
Yeah.
But, one, I do understand. And so my grandmother was a nurse, a registered nurse, one of the first in the city of Philadelphia. I'm originally from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Actually, my entire blood family is still in Philadelphia. And she introduced us to fruit. But blueberries was something that she put in her oatmeal. And, as a kid, you're like, ugh. What's that in my oatmeal? Give me sugar.
Right.
So because we wanted flavored oatmeal, and her oatmeal, she would just put them on the top, sprinkle a little honey.
Yeah.
For us, she would blend them into the oatmeal. So it was a blueberry flavored oatmeal.
Yeah.
So it turned color a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was sweet. She put a little honey in there, but she mixed it up where we couldn't see the blueberry on top. It just was a flavor. So I started eating blueberries because she transfixed it for us.
That's wonderful.
So now, even in the blueberry mix, now I have to have honey on them though. Okay. I can't eat them I can't just pop them. Right. I have to have some honey drizzled over them. Okay. But they're a good source of antioxidants.
That's it.
And, this makes me feel different. I can most certainly tell when I've had a fruit bowl without it. Versus when I've had a fruit bowl with it. Okay. So it is, I like blueberries. I like blackberries. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of raspberries. If they have some honey on them, I can get through it. Yeah. The texture for me is different. Yeah. But I like raspberry flavored things. Yeah. Okay. But the raspberry itself, the actual texture is a little, different for me. But so I don't know if those are tips, but that's just kind of my personal experience in blueberries.
You planted a seed. Well, your granny planted a seed in you. Yeah. Because she blended it. You couldn't see it. I'm telling you, my grandkids didn't eat green beans. They watch the green beans grow. They eat green beans. So, hey, we are planting seeds. Yeah. However we get it, before we go, I do want to present you with Plant the Seed Green Thumb Gardener. What I know we're on the radio, so I will tell you, I am presenting her with a Plant the Seed Radio Green Thumb Corner recipient plaque, or it's just a certificate, and it's a thank you for being here. You planted a seed in me that I wanted to share with others. That's so sweet. So that's why I wanted to invite you. I appreciate you coming, taking time out of your day. Do you have is anyone running against you?
Oh, well, there are other people who have decided to put their name in the hat, for sure. Yeah.
We want to know our competitors, but we don't worry about them. But okay, so there are others. Well, I wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
And not even luck. We don't do that. Godspeed.
Thank you.
What God has for you is for you. Nobody can take that.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you coming to my show. And before you go, can I get a plant that seed?
You better believe it. Plant that seed.
Thank you so much. Well, guys, it has been a great show today. I have really enjoyed talking with you. Thank you for taking time to come and visit me, mayoral candidate, Mrs. Jasmine Cobble. Hey, Jeff, baby, I love you. Thank you for your continued support. My Plant the Seed team, y'all showing out. Thank you so much. Continue to listen. Follow me on Plant the Seed Radio Show on Facebook and Instagram. Next week's show, stay tuned, 10 o'clock on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. Good job. That was it.
This is fun. This was fun. So I can tell you a quick story. When I was in college, I was on our radio station. It was actually 92.5. And we had a blast, but we had to run the board. That's why I asked you to run the board. Sure. Now, there are producers and engineers who do all that, and you're just on the microphone.
Right.
But the challenge, so I can't believe it, because the challenge of having to run the board and talk, and we had to record it so that we could play it back during the break to hear, how you could improve and do better. Yeah. So it was like running to the other room, hitting pause, rewind it, listen to it in the break, fast forward it to where you left off, come back in the room, unmute, turn, and then get on. Talk about your whole thing. Remember to mute and then go into the song.
And don't breathe hard.
It was crazy. Like the first couple of times we didn't unmute.
Yeah.
We just talked through an entire session and then went to break, and then people were calling like we didn't hear anything you said. It was like dead air. We're like, oh my God. So a year later, we actually end up winning the HBCU Radio Station of the Year.
Neat.
Come a long way,
right?
That first year, and it was so much fun. But I'm so jealous now to see 10 people in a room in a studio running all the equipment, and then the host just gets to sit there.
Yeah,
I mean,
my show's first.
OMG.
Yeah,
I'm the morning show, and that's exactly what I do.
She's doing all of that.
I'm doing all of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Why wasn't that evolution there?
Plant the Seed Radio Show.